Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me here.
Leah, we just want to thank you for coming and doing this interview today. And who do you have with you here today?
I got my partner Sansa. We've been together. Yeah, we've been together 6 years now.
That's awesome. She is beautiful.
Thank you.
So, tell us about your military service, and we'll start with when you entered service.
It was Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Beautiful place.
Yeah, it depends who you talk to.
So tell us why you think Patton chose that as a place to train.
Because they can flip a switch and change the weather any given time they want. You know, I mean, you could have summer, winter, and snow in one day. I mean, it's worse than Texas.
and so, where are you from in Texas?
Live in Tomball, Texas.
Tomball, Texas. Is that your home?
Yes, sir.
You're born and raised there?
No, I was actually born in Sacramento, California. Don't hold it against me. But I got to Texas as quick as I can.
Amen.
I grew up in Richmond, Roseburg, Texas, and still in Texas.
Richmond, Roseburg. Do they have a traffic light there?
At that time, 3.
3. That's a pretty big place then in Texas.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, how long was your training, and what did you do?
By trade, I'm 19 kilo Abrams tank crewman is the technical name, but I did all my training in Fort Knox, Kentucky. You know, the BCT and AIT, and it was a one-stop shop. And I love tanking. I started off with the M1s, M1As, and then we got the M1A2s. Yes, I know. And then you keep going up to the V2 SEP and whatever's out there in the tanking world, God only knows. But I could probably still do it.
Why tanks?
One was the recruiter got me. When the tank started jumping at that time, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But come to realize, once you break track, God, I hate this. And I figured, hey, why carry your weapon when your weapon can carry you? I mean, hey, work smarter, not harder.
That's a big weapon too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, a lot of people think that because you're getting a ride and you're in a tank, it's a little bit nicer than being out. But those things get cold, they get hot, they're miserable at times. So.
Yes, sir, they do.
Yeah. So let's talk about your first deployment. And I guess the main question that I want to pose with your deployment is, what's different? A lot of people have in their mind what it's going to be like when they deploy, but what's it like? What's different when you deploy?
You got all these visions, it's not a video game. Once you get over there, I ain't gonna lie, I mean, I was scared shitless. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And if anybody tells me they were never scared, they're a liar. I'll tell them to their face.
Yeah.
But once you get past that, it's good times.
Talk to us about a mission maybe that you thought, I may not make it back from this. Take your time.
It was October 7th, 2011. That's one date. I couldn't remember my anniversary date, but I can't remember my anniversary date, but I can remember October 7th, 2011. We had been out on a mission all day, key leader engagement. And I was a gunner, and we were in MRAPs that day, not tanks. We were leaving where we were. We did test fires, and 240 was rocking ready. Hey, let's rock and roll. And we were headed back home. And when I say home, we lived on a Beijing oil refinery in the Chakrit province.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think she's heard the story. She's gonna do her own thing.
Yeah. It's what I consider a bad day at the office. We were out. I was sitting there scanning. We're running down the middle of the highway. My commander said, Sergeant Rich, traverse gun on the other side. I traversed from right to left. I'm scanning from left to right. I had nods on, and I was like, man, I'm getting all this washout, so I'm like, the hell with that. I'd see better without it, you know. Put them up. I'm sitting there scanning. The last thing I remember, I heard a big boom, and I was out.
IED?
Yes, sir. Biggest one I've ever got hit with. That particular day, I thought I was dead. My commander, my whole crew thought I was dead. They said when it went off, our truck went up, almost flipped, came back down, and I laid lifeless on the bottom of the truck.
When did you wake up?
They said it was shortly after 5 to maybe 10 minutes, but I thought I was dead.
Did they medevac you?
Yeah, I woke up in a bird,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's a different story.
We'll do an extended interview later, and we're actually gonna write the story to be in one of our books.
Biggest thing the most is, you know, people talk about the white light. I know what I experienced and I deal with. I mean, I could literally see myself in this truck.
Wow. So there were some bad years in Afghanistan and Iraq, and we don't need to get into the whole political part of, you know, why it was bad for us that were deployed, but I know 11 and 12 were tough. So talk to us about, you know, your deployments during 2011 and 12.
You know, that was the heart of it, you know, the most dramatic, and that experience. But, you know, wounds heal. They patched me up like Humpty Dumpty. I refused to go into Germany. I was coming home with my unit. I walked onto the battlefield. I'll walk off the battlefield. My little brother that was in the Marine Corps, he wound up dying. And how real this is, consider yourself a father, a mother. If I would have died, and that's 2 little words, if God had other plans for me. By the time I would have been killed that particular day to the time my brother died, it was 4 months apart. Can you even fathom burying 2 sons?
No, it's horrible.
I healed, but losing my brother, I lost my shit, man.
How'd he die?
He didn't die on the battlefield. He died of this mysterious, strange cancer. He was a Marine, and not to get political, but we all know what's going on. You know, I've been saying that for all along, but what do I know?
Well, they're doing a lot of investigations, the burn pits, the neurotoxins we were exposed to, and there's a lot going on. I know that Trump did some amazing things with legislation and signing executive orders to move these to the front, but a lot of guys, they did come home. They came home and they brought home death and they didn't realize it. And some guys died of cancer, some guys commit suicide. PTSD is a horrible thing.
Yes, sir, it is.
Yeah. And so what got you through all this?
When I came home, blown up, losing my brother, I was flatlined. I was dead. I was in some dark places. I didn't care if I lived or died. Turned to the bottle, self-medicated. Lost a wife over my drinking. I was like, when she said, "Hey, I'm gonna get a divorce," hand me the papers, I said, "Well, good. You're Army issued anyway." You know, she looked at me, you know, "You're an asshole. It's my better quality." But I was in that dark spot. But there was hope. I sought the treatment I needed. I dealt with the PTSD, the anger. The hardest thing was being truthful to my medical team. Hey, I'm a non-commissioned officer. I can handle anything. I dealt with my alcoholism through the great program of AA. People say, well, don't work. Did for me. But with both of them, I had to submit, hey, I need help. 5 years later, yours truly, still sober.
Praise God.
Yes, sir. I'm involved with Veterans Creed Outdoors as a pro staffer.
Talk to us about what is that?
Veterans Creed Outdoors, Team Texas. I'm South, and we call us jokingly Dirty South. We, as veterans, law enforcement, we give back to our community, to the first responders. People forget about them. Your fire, your police, your nurses, and Gold Star families. We volunteer our time to take those families or individuals out on fishing or any kind of event that deals with outdoors at no cost to them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I'm also one of the leads at Real Life Ministries Texas in Tomball with the Veterans Group. And I go out searching for speakers to tell their story.
Like you're telling your story today.
Yes, and I'll be telling my story in November, matter of fact, you know, so, yeah. You know.
Yeah, you told me you're going to be speaking at a church.
Yeah, and since I've been in Tomball, Real Life Ministries Texas is my home church, and by me getting involved in a church, and I thought I knew God. He knows me, but I didn't know him as well, this personal relation I have now. And by surrendering to him, that's what got me through all this. And his purpose in life, I have no idea. Hey, God, I just embrace it. Hey, let's go. You know, I mean.
Yeah. You're on a different battlefield now.
It's funny you say that. I know how to fight physical wars with using physical things, doing physical harm to physical individuals. What I'm facing now, I'm still battling, but we are at spiritual warfare. And Chris Sadler, the Honor Cafe, he has been a big inspiration on me about, dude, you need to read this.
Yeah.
Opening my eyes. And certain people said, man, you better be careful with that. I says, why? I'm not afraid to die. I feel like I've died and came back to life.
You have.
So I'm not afraid. And I know what I see out there, and the evil is walking amongst us. And I'm not afraid to fight it.
It's because you got God carrying you like that tank.
Well, I would consider God a little bit more stronger than that, you know. But you know, hey, we're on a battlefield, and you know, and I'm not afraid to admit to any soul, yeah, I'm one of God's warriors.
You are.
And I lock arms with Chris Sadler, and he's a little bit bigger, you know. I mean, hey, Chris, you know, yeah, you know.
Sergeant, I want to thank you today for telling your story. We have a very little time on these video interviews
Yes, sir.
to get into it, but we're going to be writing more about some of your more experiences that you had, And I'm excited to continue this interview, and I just want to thank you again for all that you do, your service to our country, and welcome to the Honor Cafe Hall of Heroes.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Leo, we just also want to make sure you know that you are never alone, and we'd like to honor you with this poem called My Brother's Keeper. Many stories have been told of missions served in lands far off, but most of these stories rest in peace as humble warriors hold them deep. Some, of course, meet the press standing proud with puffed out chest. We did our jobs, most would say, while serving faithful in harm's way. A service ribbon is all they get, while destruction and death is what they remember best. A folded flag, a VA card, now go on home with your purple heart. A service dog is my best friend, a brother lost, the pain never ends. Now I hand my burdens off to the greatest warrior who hung on the cross. Thank you.